is an interesting question. Does it count as a pivot if we're still pre-product?
The power of seeing your story really gives people a lot of confidence.
And I thought, how can I solve this problem with technology?
If you feel that what you have is golden, then push yourself.
What is common between all the people in the world is everybody wants to be right.
It was having to get away from what I thought I knew sometimes and being more like a sponge.
So you see, here's again, I want to go to this notion of, you mentioned a couple of times, my love for building. So your love was building. Either it was a construction, now it's a business. Love can transition from one objective to another objective. It's not building what? It's building. So you see, love is sustainable. Passion necessarily is not. Lost is not. Your love is sustainable.
Right.
So you've found something and you said, oh, my daughter has an adoptive thing, this guy is this, and then you immediately went to what you love, building, to solve that problem. Love is the idea that helps you solve problems. You put it in the context of what you love, what you're good at.
So almost where your mind directly goes when you get into a situation. It takes you back to the root of who you are internally to help you propel you forward. So.
If you realize it, and I'm seeing that you have, maybe you haven't expressed it, but the way you did it, I think this is not a psychological session, but the way you explain things, it clearly is obvious. Now, some people, their go-to way is lost. Oh, let's find something else. Let's go to the next thing. Let's oh, this business doesn't work, then let's go to that business. And they call that being agile. That's not being agile.
My wife called it being a squirrel moments. You're everywhere.
Yeah, you're everywhere. You're everywhere because you think you're looking for that dopamine, that immediate satisfaction of some sort. So that's not love. It's not passion. It's not entrepreneurship. It's not being adaptive. It's not realizing change that much, right? So what would you say was the greatest challenge that you've had in this business or in your previous? Was it people you work with? Was it customer? Was it ideas didn't work? Was it building didn't work? What was the thing that you would say is the biggest challenge?
Well, I mean, if I really in retrospective, I think I've always been my biggest challenge. So it's because of my mind, obviously there's challenges with customers, sometimes with businesses, there's always struggles, but it was having to get away from what I thought I knew sometimes and being more like a sponge and absorbing that information.
Oh, that is important. Whoa, that's important.
Because that was, everybody always thinks, hey, I got it. I got a clear picture. I understand. But the truth of the matter is nobody understands everything 100%. And the person that's sitting next to you is going to be the one that's going to teach you the most, or the guy on the train or somewhere. And having to really, my grandpa always said, the man that listens the most learns the most. The man that speaks the most doesn't. And that's, every time I try to look inward,
I encourage you, and I encourage you and some of the folks that are listening to us to also go and watch my conversation with Marty Cooper. Marty Cooper is the inventor of cell phone. And we had an expert circle conversation, and that triggered based on, he's a good friend of mine. We have conversations all the time, and he came up with this thing that, hey, everybody wants to be right. What is common between all the people in the world is everybody wants to be right. And what happens is we forget to listen, not listen to respond. Most people just listen to respond. When you listen, you gain extra intelligence, insight. You're just improving your decision making. If you listen to look for dispute or prove your point, then you're not gaining that additional insight. You're actually compromising your own decision making. Is
That's
it?
a really good point. Yeah.
It's like, okay, I'm gonna ignore half the thing. I'm just gonna focus on this. Forget about this. Well, who am I hurting? Who
Yourself.
am I hurting? So that's a really good point, because it's a common point. And people say, oh, I have to be focused on what I'm doing. Focusing is also saying no to other things. Focusing is not just saying yes, yes, yes to this. It's saying no, no, no to other things. And how do you identify what you should say no to? Right?
Yeah.
So it is an important entrepreneurial lesson, I think, in terms of listening, being a sponge, being humble, as Marty puts it, being humble. And I mean, this is a man who's been, identified as the one of the top. I think it was Time magazine put him as one of the top 100 people in the world that has impacted, humanity with cell phone. When he comes in and says, be humble. I get on people and I don't know. And it's okay. It's okay not to know. It's not okay not to listen.
Thanks for watching. You can catch the full hot seat sessions through the links in the description or the pinned comment below. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you inside the Academy.